We've had this moratorium since the 90s because the federal government consolidated all the laws from around the states. Victoria had a ban. Part of the agreement was that the ban went national. I have said ad nauseum here on Sky and elsewhere in the newspapers that if the federal government truly believes that nuclear energy is not economically viable, then they have nothing to lose in lifting the moratorium, because no one will build it. But I suspect what they're actually worried about is that it will be economically viable, someone will invest in it, they will build it, and this great renewable dream of theirs will have a whole shot in it. And the years, the decades of money and policy that have been expended on this will look silly. And I think it was the Queensland Energy Minister made exactly this point in an address to a renewables conference a couple of months ago, where he said to them directly that nuclear energy would be a moratorium on your industry. It seems plain and simple.
I think it's right. I think, first of all, bans are not really good in democracies. To ban something that many of our partners, including the US and the UK, who are going to build nuclear submarines with us, they have just, in fact, in the US, they've just made it much easier to build nuclear power again. So we've got a partnership in defence that is positive about nuclear. And we've got a propensity, I think, in our environment to think that we can be different to the rest of the world. But when it comes to electrons, there are no lucky countries. There are countries that have long-term plans, they put the infrastructure in place and they build it strategically. Today, in nearly every modern nation, and there are 40 new-to-nuclear nations around the world, the queue is forming to build the next generation of nuclear. It's safe, it's reliable, it's versatile, it can live with renewables. And so it's not a war against renewables, it's a partnership with renewables. It's the appropriate partnership. Now, that appropriate partnership has been achieved in places like France, for example. It was not achieved in Germany, where they shut down 26 nuclear power plants and reopened brown coal plants. So we know already what that experiment looks like. Trying to do something that engineering doesn't allow you to do will lead to the worst of consequences.
And I mean, we find ourselves in this situation, as we talked about before, where, we've had warnings that we could run out of power on hot days. Here we are in well, you might call us a third world country if that's the sort of situation we're getting to. And without something like without something like nuclear in the system, with renewables operating as they are at the moment, going towards this 100% goal, surely they can see what's going to happen.
I think it's even worse than you say, because we know that in the 2 weeks before Christmas, we very seldom stress the grid. So to me, it is remarkable that at this period of the year, when we would expect to have everybody kind of relaxing and moving towards Christmas, we've seen a unique event where people in New South Wales have failed to have electrons. The real challenge, I think, is for AEMO to immediately stop trying to achieve a renewables goal and get back to electrons for everybody goal.
Well, we'll see how things transpire. I'm not hopeful, but we've got to keep the work up. Dr Adi Paterson, thank you so much for your time.